Hi everyone, and welcome to your weekly Pick a Card Tarot readings for the week of July 25th. If you're new here, my name is Sydney, I'm the tarot guy next door, and I use my occult knowledge and intuition to help guide you towards the life you want. If that sounds interesting, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you're always up to date on the advice that the cards have for you. I'll be doing 5 card open readings, and here are the decks that I have for you. We have the Universal Rider-Waite-Smith with Red Jasper, the Classic Rider-Waite-Smith with Lapis Lazuli, and the Tarot de Marseille with Amethyst. We also have 4 different oracle cards to choose from 4 different decks. So go ahead and pick which tarot deck and which oracle card resonate with you the most. And of course, you can pause this video if you need more time. As always with collective readings, take what resonates with you and leave aside what doesn't. To jump straight to your reading, I've provided timestamps in the description below. And with that, let's go right to the readings. All right, group 1, let's see what the last week of July has in store for you, or at least the advice that my cards have to give you. So we open with, oh, well, what a card to open with. And with every yin, there must be a yang, but don't panic just yet, especially since we are 2 cards into a 5-card reading. Let me just see here. Okay, so consider, okay. Now I just threw all 5 of these cards down here. I am getting an optimistic read from this because there are 2 glaring things that are making me feel optimistic about this reading. First of all, the presence of the sun. Second of all, the fact that you only have 2 reverse cards in your whole cross, and one of them is at the bottom of your deck, and the other one is the 9 of Swords, which I'm seeing mainly as new perspective. No, new perspective. I said. I thought I was saying that about this, but I was actually saying that about the Hangman. I say that every time about the Hangman. What I'm seeing the 9 of Swords reversed, I'm reading that more as an ending to anxiety. It's almost as if what made me laugh just now, you know that cliche meme, and I use this meme all the time. I used it recently, which is what made me laugh. You know the cliche thing about when there's a movie and you go on some quest or whatever, and then at the end, one of the people says, "Well, the real treasure is the friends we made along the way," and the I have the feeling that. No matter what this week, I think this week is going to be an opportunity for you to realize how the help, that there has been help available to you this entire time. And, you know, one of the messages of the 5 of Coins is helping each other out through hard times. These 2 hobos, for lack of a better term, are, you know, they're out in the cold, but they're not alone. And there is a church right there that would likely be willing to help them out if they just asked. So basically, one of the messages of this is things look rough, but there is help available to you. And I think that the new perspective, that the Hanged Man represents is like tapping into that help. So yeah. Now, the card that's confusing me the most right now is the 4 of Coins reversed at the bottom of your deck. It might be loosening your grip on your need to control things. I'm getting the I didn't say that very well, but the theme of letting go of something that you're holding on too tightly to is coming through to me with this card. And given the context of this whole cross here, I would say that that whatever you are letting go of or have let go of might be what is permitting you to at least live with less anxiety. I gotta say, if you feel alone in the cold and the cavalry comes in and you realize that this cavalry has been available to you this entire time, that could bring a strong sense of relief and joy and illumination and clarity that the sun represents. So all in all, this is it's looking like a good week for you, group 1. Do I have more to squeeze out of this? Let me look at this for a second here. No, I would say, whatever has brought you to this point is worth celebrating, and the enjoy looking back at how far you've come. This might be a good week to take a look at this. So before I send you to your Oracle card reading, I do have a quick note that I will say at the beginning of the Oracle card reading. So once you have clicked on the timestamps below to jump to your Oracle card reading, just pay attention for that note. So thank you very much, Group 1. I will see you there. Group 2, this is a fun fact. You're the only group for which no tarot cards have jumped out while I was shuffling. I'm not sure what that means, but it's funny. Groups 1 and 3 had cards jump out. So, that being said, let's jump right into it here. So, there's a clear theme of choice brought about by these two twos here. Let's see what that... Okay. Maybe choice after a conflict or choice after some kind of disagreement. Let's see here. Is that well framed for you? Yeah, okay, good. Group 2, I think that this week will be an opportunity for you to really get a grasp on something that you've been trying to get a grasp on. So what's giving me that impression is the Five of Swords combined with the King of Swords in reverse. Now, something that is not clear to me right now with this Five of Swords, which I call the ponage card. It's a card of conflict and victory or defeat. And that's the thing, like in general, whenever there's a card with multiple people in it, as is the case with this card here, I'm always curious, like, which one are you? You could be any person in this card here. Now, the thing that is making me unsure if you came out on top or not in this conflict is the King of Swords in reverse and the oh, sorry, wait. Yeah, no, the Five of Wands, the Five of Swords was upright. So what is making me unsure as to whether or not you came out on top in this conflict is the King of Swords in reverse at the bottom of your in the middle of your cross. So what I would tell you, group 2, if the first times that you try to do something, the results might not be as good as you might hope, but that's not a reason to stop from moving forward. Like any goal that you perceive is like a process. It's repeated iteration. It's, do the right things long enough consistently. And if this conflict here, despite the fact that it's upright, which kind of gives me the impression that that this disagreement is something that will be in your favor or that was in your favor, I have trouble distinguishing between past and future. So if this doesn't resonate, this might be a prediction. But where I'm trying to go is that whatever this conflict represents, if you came out on top or if you didn't, I think it's important to focus on realizing that whether you win the war or lose the war, we want to win the peace that comes after, and this might be symbolized by the Six of Cups here. I'm reminded of the Six of Swords. Actually, the sixes of Pentacles, Cups, and Swords have this in common of helping each other out, I call the Six of Cups the nostalgia card. Sixes in general are about success. And yeah, the Six of Wands does have that theme too, to a certain extent, but it's really all about the guy on the horse who's wearing like a wreath crown on his head, and he's holding like a specially decorated wand. So there is more to that in that card. But anyway, coming back to this card, the one that's actually in your cross here, the no matter what ends up happening with the conflicts or disagreements that this week throws your way, it's important to realize, and I do say this a lot. I am often worried that I sound like a broken record when I say this, but this conflict shouldn't be the end all be all that defines like your relationship with the people that you're disagreeing with. I mean, it's a pip, it's a 5, it's like halfway from 1 to 10. So whatever this change or disagreement or chaotic energy represents for you, even if you come out on top, it's important to not let it get to your head and to realize that you need to help each other out, and that, the conflict. I'm really focusing on this Five of Swords here. The conflict represented by this Five of Swords, it's all about how to best advance towards this shared objective that you have. And yeah, I would encourage you to remember that, because it's funny, the fact that this Five of Swords is upright is giving me the impression that you're more likely to come out on top in this conflict or challenge or disagreement or whatever. But the fact that the King of Swords is reversed is what's making me so unsure, which is why I'm kind of trying to speak to you as if you've won, but also if you didn't, you can take that as a learning experience and not let that make you hesitate from moving forward. Something that I want to point out also, and I'm not sure how this plays into the reading because I'm not sure who you are in this picture here. The You already have everything you need, which is one of the messages of the Two of Wands. It's okay to want more, though. Resting on your laurels, I personally don't like that. So even if the choices that you end up making, even if you're hesitant to make the choices that you have to make this week. And again, the theme of choice comes up with these two twos here. Whatever it is that you're juggling, whatever it is that you're pondering whether to move forward on, I think it's important to reconnect with whatever source of ultimate knowledge this King of Swords represents. And it's one of the two reverse cards in your reading, So I'm optimistic about this overall. However, it's much more nuanced given the mere presence of the Five of Swords here, and also the fact that almost half of your cards are reversed. So just try to keep in mind what it's all about. That's another one of these phrases I feel like I say all the time in these videos, but I'm focusing on the page of coins here at the bottom of your deck here when I say this. He's a very focused, very patient energy, maybe a little unsure, but the fact that he's upright, I'm not picking this up as a lack of confidence. I'm thinking of some kind of new path that's opening up for you this week, group 2. So just try to keep in mind, no matter what war you end up in, it's also important to win the peace that comes after. And I was suddenly tempted to pull an advice card, so I will. And we have the Hangman. I'll let you guess why I laughed that way when I pulled the Hangman. So whether you come out on top or not in this, it's important to it's important to surrender to something greater. That is, the phrase that I say all the time with the hangman is looking at this from a new perspective. He's literally looking at the world upside down. But also, part of the reason why he's so chill to the point where there's a halo around his head is the fact that there's a notion of surrendering to something bigger than yourself, which kind of reinforces basically everything that I've been saying in this reading. So, with that note, before I send you to your Oracle card reading, I have a note that I'm going to tell everyone at the beginning of that section. So you can go ahead and use the timestamps in the description below to jump to your Oracle card reading. I will see you there, Group 2. Thank you so much. All right, Group 3, I have a story to tell you. So, while I was shuffling your deck, the Justice card jumped out. And then later on, the Nine of Swords and the Fool also jumped out. So I don't know what that means. It might not mean anything. I'm also saying this as a reminder to myself. But one thing is for sure, if either one of those three cards comes up in your actual reading, I'm going to pay attention to that. So let's see. As is customary now with the Tarot de Marseille, I'm going to throw down all 5 cards. I'm going to stare at them in silence. You won't see that part. I'm not as intelligent as you might think I am, Group 3. So we have the Empress, the 10 of Wands, the Page of Swords, the 5 of Wands, and the 2 of Wands with the 4 of Swords at the bottom of your deck. So let me just set this up. I think that is it. Yeah, that framing's good. All right. The first phrase that comes to mind, and I'll explain what I mean by it, Group 3, is don't shy away from putting in the work. What I mean by that, and I'm not calling you lazy, that's not what I am getting from this. So here's the deal. First of all, you have 3 wands in your cross. Wands are typically about, will, passion, creativity. So that kind of vibe. However, it's like there's a choice that you have to make, and the concern about the change that may come about from the choice that you have to make is making you hesitant to even consider the choice. So I'm talking about the Page of Swords who's looking away from this too here, and I've been using this a lot. It feels really good to do this. So the fact that the Page is looking away from the cross and there's a choice or a 2 of Wands in the middle of it, it's almost as if you're afraid that the change that might come about depending on the choice that you make will upset things that you have built so far. So that is coming through to me from the 10 of Wands, which is, 10s in general are about completion, and the Empress here, who is, sitting cozy on her throne, holding her scepter and the shield thingy in her hand. It's almost as if you are. It's almost as if you're afraid of losing what you've built so far if you move forward with whatever choice that you have to make. And I would, I'm not going to tell you what to do, Group 3, but I will just invite you to really examine if that fear or that concern is justified or not. Because whatever flower that you're going after, whatever flower that is imprisoned in these swords here, that might come on the other side of this change, it is possible that it might not be worth upsetting the completion and everything that you've built so far, but it might. And I must say it. When we're looking at this flower here, it's we don't always know what kind of thing that this. It's not always easy to tell what the thing that we go after will blossom into, is what I'm trying to say. So I can understand the the concern, especially when you've had it made. You know, you have your crown and your scepter, and you're sitting atop your cushy ass little throne. And yeah, it can be very tempting to get comfortable and to just stay there and to be satisfied with the completion that you've attained so far. I would just invite you to at least look at the choice. You know, you're not even looking at it according to these cards here. So the the cost benefit analysis as far as whatever this is and the change that might be necessary to get to this, if it's worth putting at risk what you've built so far, that I cannot possibly tell you whether it's worth it or not. However, I would just invite you to just, take a closer look at it. Because one thing is for sure, you can't get to the bottom. You can't reach clarity in the choices that you want to make if you don't even look at them. So yeah, I think that I have squeezed every drop that I can reasonably get from this orange group 3. So I will invite you to stay tuned for your oracle card reading, and I have a note that I want to tell everyone at the beginning of that. So stay tuned, group 3. All right, it's time for oracle card reading. So the note, I have a note that I want to give everyone. Here's the thing: before I do these readings, I like to take a look at the space weather that will happen in the period of time that I am reading for. And here's the deal. Compared to an actual astrologer, I don't know shit about astrology, okay? It's something that I'm trying to learn. It's part of the reason why I enjoy these two decks here. They're giving me an opportunity to at least familiarize myself with that on top of all the shit that I study. Anyway, the point that I'm making is I noticed that last week, this mostly affected the energies of last week. There was a Saturn-Pluto opposition, and Pluto is in retrograde during that period. So I noticed that at the beginning of this week's energy, like on the 25th of July. But this week represents leaving that energy. That opposition is no longer taking place for most of that week, but it did happen like during the last couple days of last week. So if you watched last week's readings and this week's readings, that that Sun opposing Pluto retrograde may or may not explain why last week's readings felt the way they did and why this week's readings felt the way they did. So that was my note, and now let's go into the oracle card readings. Group 1, your card is prosperity. Look at that. Look at that beautiful sacred geometry right here. I'm probably going to say that about every card. This is a beautiful deck, so don't read too much into that. Anyway, what is written under this card is: the frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. So here's the thing. Honestly, this... there's one group for which this is just an exclamation point on everything that I told you during your reading. Now, the other two groups, how I would invite you to integrate this with the reading I gave you is to just what might help you navigate the forces and events and circumstances that this week throws at you. Group A is to focus on abundance. Focus on opportunity and abundance as opposed to lack and scarcity. That is a clear reminder. I mean, the name of the fucking card is prosperity. But given the readings that I gave 2 out of 3 of you, the odd person out, that's a good thing. This is just a nod to your reading. But the other two, to focus on prosperity and abundance can help you navigate the circumstances that this week has in store for you. So Group B, your card is development. This is I Ching hexagram number 53. And the key phrases are gradual progress, continuity, slowly but surely, adaptability, and a time-honored approach. So I don't know why that last part, a time-honored approach, jumped out to me, but I'm going to say, especially combined with this mandala here, you don't need to reinvent the wheel for this week, Group B. I have the feeling that what I just said will apply to very few of you, but if that's you, I'm glad it could help. So just keep your head down, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and focus on the process and the journey and not the destination. I don't think that is a problem for most of you, but this is a reminder that one of the best ways to attain like true long-standing victory is the slow, gradual approach towards whatever you're going towards. Rome wasn't built in a day, and just keep putting one brick on top of another brick. I've used enough metaphors for you, Group B. So Group C, your card is the 6th house, sustainability. This could be an invitation. It's funny too, because all three of these have like circular mandala type patterns in them. It would be really funny if this one did also. But another theme that is coming all in common with this, and I'm sorry to mix you in with the other two, Group C, but it is the word sustainability. To focus on just making sure that the decisions that you make are decisions for the long game, and to make sure that cutting corners for the short term might not be advisable for you this week, Group C, and to really keep in mind to make sure that all the things, the approaches that you take and the decisions that you make for this week are sustainable in the long run. And Group D, it would be hilarious if you also had a mandala. Kinda. Your card is impulsiveness. This is Mars in Aries. Given the readings that I gave, this is a clear warning to not be impulsive. Sometimes, I don't think, and especially Mars is the ruler of Aries, I don't think that... I don't think snapping to a quick decision is always a bad thing. I think there can be a lot of value in, snapping to a decision right away. However, given the readings that I just gave, I would take this as a warning to just make sure that that you keep that impulsiveness in check. Honestly, that is the only way that this card makes sense in the readings that I gave. And was I primed by these three other cards? Maybe, maybe not. But you saw the reading that I gave you, Group D, no matter which group you're in. And if you have like a sudden urge to do something, I would take this card as an invitation to really examine if that sudden urge to do something is really in your greater service, so to speak.
Thank you so much for watching. If your reading resonated with you, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great week. You take care. I'll see you soon.